Have you ever sat in a quiet room wondering how you went from being the center of your child's world to feeling like a stranger in theirs? You poured your heart into raising them, sacrificing more than anyone saw. Yet now, it feels like you've been edited out of their story. Perhaps the calls stopped, or you only hear from them when they need something. Many of us, especially folks over 60, instinctively think that if we just disappear, that silence might echo loud enough for them to miss us. But here's the hard truth, dear friends. That's often just silence soaked in sadness, leaving us stuck. True power isn't in removing yourself. It's in rebuilding. Today, we're talking about becoming so centered, so confident, that no child can forget you. Stick around, because mastering this can bring you incredible freedom, peace, and dignity. 1. Mastering your emotions. You see, for many years, as a doctor, I've had countless conversations with folks just like you, perhaps around my own age, or a little older, a little younger. And a common thread, a real heartache, is this. When our grown children, the ones we poured our lives into, start to drift away, it feels like our emotional well-being gets tied to their every move. We might find ourselves hanging on every phone call, every text, or the lack thereof. And the big problem, is that when our children know deep down that they can rattle our cage, make us feel guilty, or just plain get under our skin, well, it's almost like we hand them the remote control to our own peace. We lose, not in some competitive way, but in a spiritual one. We lose control of our own story, our own sense of self. Instead of living intentionally, we become reactive, always waiting, always hoping, always dreading. We stop living our vibrant, full lives and instead start just waiting on theirs. And that, my friends, is no way to live. It's truly not. Now, let's look at why this happens, why it affects us so profoundly, especially as we get a little older. When we constantly react to our children's actions or their silence, we're essentially giving them an open invitation to push our emotional buttons. This isn't a judgment on them, mind you, it's just human nature. But for us, it triggers our body's ancient stress response system. Think of it like this. Your brain thinks there's a saber-toothed tiger in the room, even if it's just the sound of your phone buzzing, and it's not your child. Your body floods with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Your heart rate might pick up, your shoulders tense, and your stomach gets that familiar knot. This fight or flight response is meant for short bursts of danger, but when it becomes your daily normal, when you're constantly feeling anxious or keyed up waiting for a sign, it wears you down. This chronic stress doesn't just make you feel bad. It can impact your sleep, your digestion, and your memory. You might find yourself forgetting little things, feeling tired even after a full night's rest, or just generally feeling a bit off. And here's the core of why this hits us particularly hard as we age. As we get older, our emotional resilience, that natural bounce-back ability, can sometimes lessen. It's not a weakness, it's just a part of life. Those old wounds, those deep-seated needs for connection and validation, they can get stirred up more easily. We've spent decades building relationships, raising families, and often putting everyone else's needs before our own. When that fundamental connection with our children, which is such a huge part of our identity and our emotional safety net, feels threatened, it can feel like a deep, aching loss. The desire for that connection, that love, that sense of being valued, can feel overwhelming. It makes us more susceptible to letting those emotions take over, because the stakes just feel so incredibly high. So, what does this look like in your daily life? Well, mastering your emotions doesn't mean pretending you don't hurt. It doesn't mean stuffing down the sadness, or ignoring that sharp sting of rejection when a call goes unanswered. Oh no, that would be unhealthy. What it does mean, though, is recognizing those feelings, acknowledging them, and then making a conscious choice not to let them steer your actions, not to let them dictate your peace. You might be missing your child something fierce, you might ache for them, and still choose not to chase them. You can love them, truly love them, and still find the strength to let them go, if only for the sake of your own healing. The real power here The true strength lies in responding deliberately, not reacting impulsively. I remember my patient, Mrs. Carroll. A wonderful lady, always baking cookies, always had a kind word. But for years, her heart was heavy. She once told me, with tears in her eyes, "Doctor, I used to just glue my eyes to that phone. Every time it even buzzed, my heart would leap. But it was never my son, not for years." She felt exhausted, always on edge, always waiting for that call, that text, that sign. She was stuck in this cycle of hope and crushing disappointment, and it was taking a toll on her physically and emotionally. Her sleep suffered, her energy dwindled. The constant cycle of anxiety and sadness was quite literally draining her life force. But her story, my friends, doesn't end there, and neither does yours. 2. Understanding reverse connection, and gently pulling back with dignity. Now, let's talk about something that might just turn your understanding of relationships on its head. What I call reverse connection. It's a basic human principle, really. The more you chase someone who's pulling away, the faster they tend to run. Think about it. We all naturally crave what feels just a little out of reach, don't we? It's not about manipulation, but about valuing what isn't easily available. When your children feel they've got you wrapped around their little finger, believing you'll always be there no matter how they treat you, why would they ever change? There's no cost to their behavior, no shift in the power dynamic. For us, as we get older, there's often a deep-seated tendency to cling to established relationships, especially with our children. Our identity can be so intertwined with being mom or dad. This can lead us down that frustrating path of constant pursuit, which only pushes them further away, leaving us feeling hurt and confused. I've seen this play out time and time again. There was Mr. Arthur, a lovely gentleman who, for years, constantly called and messaged his daughter, buying her gifts, offering help. And the more he pursued, the more distant she became, until he was heartbroken. It wasn't that she disliked him, it was that she knew he'd always be there, without effort from her side. People don't start appreciating presence until they truly feel the absence, with dignity. So, the solution is simple, yet incredibly powerful. When you stop showing up on cue, when you stop constantly proving your love, hoping they'll reciprocate, something profound begins to happen. They start to notice the gap. This isn't about playing games. It's about understanding that real value isn't in what's loud. It's in what's genuinely missed. It's time to gently, quietly pull back. Not with bitterness, not with spite, but with a deep sense of peace. Stop updating them on your day. Stop reminding them to call. Stop sending photos or forwarding interesting articles. Stop checking if they received your last message. You stop reaching out, not from anger, but from a place of quiet acceptance. And here's the kicker. You don't need them to notice right away. Because in that newfound space, something truly beautiful can unfold. You begin to rediscover yourself. If this idea of reverse connection has surprised you, comment insight below. 3. Reinventing your self-worth from the inside out. My dear friends, after 60, it's so easy to feel like your best years are behind you, isn't it? Like your worth was solely tied to the roles you once played. Mom, dad, provider, protector. But when those roles aren't constantly being acknowledged by your children, you might start feeling like a faded version of yourself. I've heard it many times. Doctor, I feel like I'm just a shadow of who I used to be. This feeling stems from our tendency to attach our self-worth to external roles. When those roles shift, as they naturally do with retirement or adult children, it can lead to a quiet identity crisis, a feeling of emptiness that's truly damaging to our spirit. For many of us, especially those in our generation, we dedicated decades to our families and careers. When that primary purpose diminishes, it becomes challenging to redefine ourselves, leading to a gentle, quiet sadness or even mild depression. But here's the truth. That's not who you are. That's just an old story you don't have to keep reading. You still have so many unwritten chapters ahead. What you do next can either be a reaction to the pain of feeling overlooked, or it can be a beautiful declaration that you are still evolving. So, my practical advice: pick something, anything, something that brings you back to you. Maybe it's your health. Start walking again, join a Tai Chi group, grow your own vegetables. Or maybe it's your mind. Take a free online class at a local college, join a book club, learn to paint. Perhaps it's your spirit. Volunteer at a shelter, mentor someone younger, join a local choir. It doesn't matter where you start, only that you start showing up for yourself. Because when you begin to glow from within, when you're no longer glued to the phone wondering why they haven't called, your energy shifts. And darling, energy doesn't lie. You start radiating a quiet strength that is, believe it or not, deeply attractive. Even to your children, whether they admit it or not. It's not the needy parent who is missed. It's the parent who grows, who gets sharper, who surprises them with how well they're doing and how little they seem to be waiting around. This is how you become truly magnetic again. Not by pulling, but by rising. What new thing will you try to reinvent yourself? Share New Me in the comments. For becoming visible in your own world and magnetic. As you start to shine from within, something else begins to shift. That invisible wall, that distance that felt so permanent with your children, starts to feel less stable. They might begin to wonder, did I misjudge them? Did I walk away too soon? Have they moved on without me? This happens due to what we call social proof. We humans are influenced by what others see and confirm. When your children or others in their circle start to see you genuinely happy and independent, it presents a reality that clashes with their previous assumptions. This creates a subtle rattling in their minds, making them reconsider. For many of us, after years of focusing solely on family, we might naturally become a bit hesitant to step back out. But re-engaging with the world is a crucial step in rebuilding our intrinsic value. Your children probably expected you to be stuck, to wait forever, quietly, desperately holding space for them to return on their terms. This expectation creates a feeling of being unacknowledged, even dismissed. Consider Mr. Robert, for instance. A man in his early 60s who, after feeling overlooked by his adult children, stopped apologizing for setting boundaries. He started hiking again, sometimes alone, sometimes with new friends from a local club, and discovered a zest for life he hadn't felt in years. Or Mrs. Susan, who used to send holiday invites that went unanswered year after year. Instead, she booked a flight to a city she'd always dreamed of visiting and ended up dancing with strangers under golden lights, making new, wonderful memories. So, the practical step here is simple. It's time to become visible again. Not in their life, necessarily, but in the world. Not to them, but to yourself and to others. Whether you realize it or not, people are watching. They see when you carry yourself with dignity. They notice when your smile truly returns, when your shoulders square up, when your energy changes. You might be surprised, but this is when social proof comes into play. It's about living your life. You post a photo of yourself at the museum or volunteering at the community center. No captions about missing anyone, no sad quotes, just life. Full. From. Yours. When your life becomes rich and whole again, it sends a clear message without saying a single word. I am still here, and I am still growing. This isn't about showing off. It's about living on. People don't regret walking away from someone who disappears. They regret walking away from someone who grew beyond their reach. What joy have you found lately? Tell me by commenting, glowing. 5. The power of strategic coolness. Emotional discipline. Now, this next part is crucial, and it's about protecting yourself. You don't give your child a full window into your emotional world. You don't break the silence with a message about how good you're doing now. You don't say, "Look at me now." Why? Because our emotional brain is easily triggered by attention from loved ones, especially after a period of distance. This strategic coolness isn't about being heartless. It's a conscious act of protecting your energy boundaries, preventing those old, unhealthy interaction patterns from creeping back in. As we age, our emotional and physical energy might not be as boundless as it once was. Constantly navigating intense emotional responses can be draining, so preserving your peace is paramount. You simply cannot afford to fall back into old habits, to let yourself believe, "They miss me, they're ready to reconnect," only to face disappointment. You've done the hard work. You've climbed out of the hole their absence left behind. And you're not about to fall back in just because they toss you a rope of curiosity. Instead, you adopt something far more powerful: strategic coolness. This doesn't mean being rude or giving the cold shoulder. It means adopting a kind of emotional discipline that protects your inner peace. So, if your child suddenly sends you a text, maybe a casual "hey" or an old picture, you don't jump. You don't immediately fall into that old trap. You stay calm. You stay grounded. You respond only if you truly want to, and when you do, keep it short, polite, and neutral. This isn't to punish them. It's to protect you. They need to feel the difference. They need to sense that the version of you they once took for granted is gone, and what's left is someone far more centered, far more deliberate. The goal isn't to make them uncomfortable. It's to remain untouched by their sudden, perhaps superficial, interest. To make it clear, gently and confidently, that your life is no longer orbiting around theirs. Do you find it hard to stay calm when your child unexpectedly reaches out? Comment discipline if you're working on mastering this. 6. Let them come to you and the power of restraint. This is where it gets interesting, my friends. You've stopped reaching. You've stopped trying. And now, you allow the space for them to come forward, if and when they are truly ready. This is where the power of restraint truly shines. Human behavior often reacts to pushing and pulling. When you stop pulling, you create a vacuum that can naturally draw the other person back. However, clinging to a specific outcome will only fuel anxiety and hinder your own healing process. For us, the desire for reunion can be incredibly strong, but it's vital to accept what's beyond our control and focus on what we can manage: our own lives, our own peace. You see, if they come back and find you unchanged, it only confirms their decision to leave. This leads to a cycle of repeated disappointment, something none of us needs more of. This is the very essence of restraint, the powerful act of no longer chasing. But here's the key: you're not building your life around that possibility. You're not secretly hoping every message means reconciliation. You've let go of the outcome. If they reach out, wonderful. If they don't, you are still at peace. Letting them come to you isn't passive. It's confident patience. It says, "I know my worth. I don't need to prove it. And if you're ready to meet me with respect and sincerity, I'll be here. But only as someone who stands tall, not someone who begs to be seen." And if they do start to return, don't rush it. Don't throw open every door the moment they knock. Let the relationship rebuild slowly. Let it earn its way back into your life. If they come back and find you stronger, calmer, wiser, they won't just see a parent. They'll see a person they deeply underestimated. Does your peace matter more than a perfect ending? Comment peace if you agree. 7. Silent redemption and irreplaceability. You might be thinking, but what if they never reach out? What if I never hear from them again? That's the question that haunts most parents in your shoes. And the honest answer, my dear friend, is that you might not. You can't control that part. And that's exactly why you stop trying to. This silent redemption is a powerful psychological process where your healing and personal growth unfold independently of external validation. It's about reclaiming your emotional autonomy and defining the meaning of your own life. In this later stage of life, inner peace and a sense of life's fullness become far more crucial than controlling someone else's actions. It's a time to focus on your personal legacy, your spiritual well-being. The fear of, what if they never call, or the lingering feeling of, I can't forget them, can be overwhelming. The good news is, you shift your focus from what you can't fix and place it squarely on what you can become. Because at this stage in life, your peace matters more than closure. Your happiness matters more than explanation. You don't need a perfect ending with your child to have a beautiful, fulfilling life of your own. This silent redemption happens when you live so well, so fully, so joyfully, not despite the pain, but through it, that the loss becomes a scar, not a gaping wound. As we wrap up our time together today, I have one important question for you, a personal invitation to take action. We've explored so many impactful ways to reclaim your story, to find your strength and peace. But knowledge, my friends, is only powerful when we put it into action. So now, I truly want to know, what is the one small, tangible commitment you are making to yourself after watching this video? It could be as simple as, I will make time for my Tai Chi class this week. Or, I will call that old friend I've been meaning to connect with. Or maybe, I will simply pause and breathe deeply before reacting to any family text. Please, share your personal commitment in the comments below. Let's create a wave of positive change, inspiring each other to take that crucial first step. Your commitment, however small it may seem, holds immense power. And if you found real value and genuine inspiration in our conversation today, please show your support. Give this video a like. It truly helps our community grow. To ensure you continue on this beautiful journey with us and never miss another video full of life-changing wisdom and heartfelt guidance, hit that subscribe button. It's more than just subscribing. It's joining a warm, supportive community dedicated to living our best lives together every single day. Finally, think of one person who truly needs to hear this message today. Someone who might be quietly struggling, feeling overlooked, or just needing a gentle nudge towards their own peace. Please, share this video with them. You might just plant a seed of hope that blossoms into a whole new chapter for them. Thank you so much for watching. Stay healthy, stay wise, and remember, you are unforgettable. I'll be here, waiting for you in the next video, as we continue to explore how to live boldly, with dignity, and with a deep knowing that our best years are still unfolding.